It's really very simple. We have to start winning games. We need shooters on the team who can score, and so we can win games. That's it.
Trey has figured it out. Basketball debunked by Trey.
Take note.
Big Beach. We're here.
I'm an allergist.
It's different this time.
What's up, guys?
Go! What's up, guys? Terry and Trey here, and it is Media Day 2020. Let's hear what our guys have to say.
I love it. This is when we get fake hype. They say some positive things and we get super excited. I remember last year, I was all in. I'm still all in every season. It resets every year. But first off, let's start with RJ.
Bothered me a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Bothered me a lot. I really don't understand why I wasn't on it, but it's motivation for next season. Just gotta, it's good to have an extra chip on my shoulder. Just prove myself even more.
So RJ being the number 3 pick in the NBA draft and not making any of the rookie teams is kind of a big diss, I think, to us as Knicks fans, because Terry believes that had he been playing for any other team, he would have probably got picked.
Oh, definitely.
RJ did not give us the typical, the politically correct answer. He actually gave us the answer that, no, he is upset. He is upset that he didn't make it. And I think he has a little chip on his shoulder. And that's good. Let him go out there feeling that way. Let him go out there feeling he has to prove himself some more. And so if that's how he's feeling, that's good.
Yeah, I agree. So RJ this is why I really like this. Now, RJ was snubbed 100%. I know people want to bring up efficiency and things like that, but if you really look at who made that second team specifically, RJ definitely should have been at least on one of the 2 teams, but that's neither here nor there. What I will say, though, with RJ is he doesn't really talk often. RJ does not show you his workouts. He does not tell you, this is it, this is the season, I've been grinding. He doesn't do any of that posturing that you see a lot of young players do on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is. He doesn't even give that many interviews. So RJ basically spent 8 months and we haven't really seen a lot of his offseason stuff. So I know he's working, and for him to say this publicly means it really has been bothering him. And had it come from another player, I'd be like, whatever, players like to talk. But RJ, we talk about his media training and knowing it. He's serious. I think he means it. I'm excited to see what 8 months of work will do to RJ, because we've spoken about this before. Usually you get like 3 or 4 months to work on your game. They had 8 months uninterrupted, obviously COVID pending, but if they had access to a gym and everything, they would have had about 8 months of non-stop work with no break in between. So I really want to see RJ come back, and I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be better than people think this year.
I feel like I've made a lot of strides during this off season. It was, there was such a long time, to get better, study films, really break down my game from last year, and kind of just worked over the course of all these months. So I'm really happy with where my game is right now. I looked at, especially from the free throw line, I started off really bad, and that's what kind of got me, to the percentage that I had. Over the course of the year wasn't terrible. It was those first 1 or 2 months. And I'm actually encouraged to know that, I kind of started at a really low point, so that the only way to go is up. The only way to go is up. I'm not worried about that stuff at all. I mean, whether it's shooting from the field, some NBA superstars, their rookie years, they didn't shoot well from the field. I shot better than some NBA superstars shot in their first years, so that doesn't bother me at all.
All right, so RJ's talking about that 8-month period. We've been talking about that time off. I like that he's specific here. He's brought up the free throws, which were a problem for him last year. I just trust his work, like we said before. He doesn't do this often. So when he's asked the question directly and he lets you know what he's been working on, I believe him.
So do I. I mean, like you said, I know he's media trained, and not just media trained, but remember his dad played also. He's been sort of groomed for this role, right? So not making the rookie teams, identifying where his weaknesses are, and having that extra time, I feel like an extra semester, if you will, to work on that. I've heard that his body has bulked up. So mentally he's prepared. He knows what he has to do. So I am very much looking forward to seeing a completely different game from him this season.
we work out at the same time every day. So, I've really been connecting with him. Great dude. And he's a hard worker for sure. Very talented, very athletic, very versatile. So excited to have him on our team. And, I feel like we'll play well together. I feel like it's gonna work well. See myself with, you see how I work well with Mitch. You've seen how I've worked well with Zion in the past. It's just, I feel like it's gonna work. He's very versatile. He can, pick and roll, pick and pop. You can put it on the deck. You can shoot it. So, excited to have him. He gives us another dimension. Very talented.
So we got RJ talking about him and Obi training, not together, but being in the gym at the same time. So obviously there's some sort of a rapport going on there. He seems to respect him a lot. He seems to like his game, and he seems to be excited to have him on the team. What else are you going to say, though, right?
Right. Well, obviously, one thing I did like that he brought up, though, and again, RJ, I like his interviews. He says, even though a lot of times he's giving you the general response, but what he said here is he's worked with Mitch, he's worked with Zion, two guys who play above the rim, high-flying guys. So I like that he's already, thought about that. Obi Toppin is in a weird way very similar to Zion Williamson, at least in terms of how they play above the rim. Both crazy athletic, high jumpers. Obi is going to have a better shot than Zion. So we'll see. I've been seeing some things on Twitter, by the way, that Obi is going to be what we hoped Zion would be for us. But I didn't want to touch that yet.
Yeah, let's not go there yet.
Very competitive coach. I can tell that right away. Him and I have been communicating a lot. He's a great basketball mind. Really wants to defend and get out and just really coach us to the best of our ability. So, so far everything's been great. To me, it's not as hard driving as everybody says it is. I've always had coaches like that my whole life. That's what I like. So to me, he's just being a good coach. He has a great, style of play. He has a great way that he wants, our team to approach the game. And he knows how to win. He knows how to win at the highest levels. He's won championship before, so, we're lucky to have him.
Let me ask you this. So you just heard RJ talk about coaching and Tibbs, and he said, people say he's a hard guy. I've been around hard coaches all my life. It's not about that. It's about, can you coach? That made me feel like it was a shot at Fizz.
Was that a slight? Was that a side eye at Fizz?
Listen,
fired.
What do you think about that and young players today in coaching in general?
So I actually had something on the radio today specifically about young players. So I think that we could be under a misconception that these new young guys that are coming in want to have a coach that's not too hard on them and that kind of, finesses them a little bit and treats them well and understands that it's the players that are sort of running the league. But I heard that some of these guys actually prefer to work with a coach who's a hard ass and who's going to be drilling them and making them work really hard. Because if you think about your teachers in school, right?
Yeah.
Teachers that you always work the hardest for, at least for me, I don't know about for you, but teachers you work the hardest for, studied for, made sure you did really well in their exams, were the teachers that you were scared of, right? So it's the teachers that they're going to give you a tongue lashing or a lashing, depending on where you're growing up and going to school. But, it's almost like the one that you're afraid of, who's really, really strict and going to be up your ass. That's kind of who you work really hard for. So I'm getting the feeling that these young guys coming in, they actually want that. They actually prefer that.
Yeah, to add to that point, right? Remember, these guys are now in college shorter. They're not becoming men as quickly. So they may, they may be missing that anyway. In the past, it's funny because, it's like almost reverse of what people thought, because in the past, these guys who came into the league were so much more prepared in terms of they had a hard coach on them for 3-4 years in college. They had to go to classes back then. There was no, in the 80s, when you were in college, I'm not saying there were not liberties taken. I'm sure some of the athletes got a bit more freedom, but now it's a joke. Right? Whereas back then, Patrick Ewing went to school. He went to his classes in Georgetown. He wasn't just messing around. Whereas today, Patrick Ewing was in college as a big high school guy. He would hardly go to school. They would pass him in his test, and he would stay there for 1 year. So these guys need that father figure. And RJ's saying it's not even about that for him. It's like, can you coach? It took him 1 year of Fizz to become cynical.
When I came back in March, I really picked it up and I was playing really well. Like you said, probably some of my best basketball of the season. I felt like I was really, really figuring it out. And for it to just kind of stop, it's kind of frustrating, but also a blessing. I was able to get back fully healthy. I was really playing on one ankle, and get back fully healthy, and then just being able to work on my game the whole summer. So I don't know. I know I got better, so it should be better going into this year. I know. I'm trying to make it to the playoffs. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win. I feel like we shouldn't expect anything less from ourselves. Just try to go out there and be the best team we could be. We have a lot of talented players, a lot of hard workers, and put it together with Tibbs and the coaching staff that we have. We should be able to do very well.
So RJ said all the correct things he's supposed to say about.
He said playoffs. Playoffs. Listen, all it takes.
I think he's talking about the Knicks, by the way. So hold your horses.
One person talking about playoffs on the team, no matter who it is, gets me hyped. Remember who was it who was talking? Somebody said something about playoffs last year.
Cut. Time out, Terry. We ain't making no playoffs. Let's try to at least get to 20 or 24 wins for the season first. Anyway, he's saying all the right things he's supposed to say, but he did mention the fact that he did see his game start to improve in March, and it sounds like he was probably a little disappointed that the season was cut short, but that he also did continue to train because he realized that he was getting better. And obviously, he's in his rookie year. He's not going to sit back on his laurels. He's going to be like, this is what I got to improve on. This is what I got to do. So again, I want to see when they start playing, are we going to see a difference in his game? Because I remember last year, Mitchell Robinson doing and saying some of the same things. And I know he's not as focused probably as I think RJ probably is, but we didn't then see this big difference from Mitch, right?
Mitch and the shooting we keep seeing.
We're supposed to see. We didn't see that. So I want to wait and see. He's saying all the right things. I know he has the right mind, right mentality. I know he's surrounded with a core group. I mean, his girl plays ball, his father played ball, his mother played sports. So he's groomed for this. So let's see you on the court now. Put this to work.
Yeah. Honestly, on that point, I like that that's his idea and his ambition going in. I know tanking is an organizational decision for some organizations, but players on the court, especially young players, need to be trying to win every single game. So I like that that's his mindset. I definitely think RJ takes a leap this year. He doesn't say this stuff often. That's the thing too, right? RJ is not this guy who usually says some of this stuff. Obviously, he's answering the questions asked to him. But I really do believe in RJ. I believe last year's team was not really set up for him. I believe Tibbs is going to put him in a better position to succeed. And just on the point of him improving, most rookies, the last 2 months is when you really see kind of the player they're going to be, because it takes them a while, right? So RJ, I know during that period, he definitely was getting better, more efficient. His free throw shooting was way better. His jumper was looking better. For me, it's all about that jumper. RJ can get to the rim. He's strong. He knows how to pass. He can do a lot of things right on the court. His defense was way better than we thought. He's got that fire, that energy, everything for New York City. If his jumper can start going down, the player just won't know how to defend him, and he's going to be in a better position to succeed. So I'm happy to hear this. It's funny. The 20-year-old kid feels like the leader of the entire franchise, doesn't he?
He definitely does. He definitely has a maturity about him.
He does.
You're telling me 20, and I'm like, what?
It's not even just what he's saying or how he's saying it. I don't know, the whole thing about him, right? You brought up Built for This, all the things you spoke about. It just exudes from his character, and you think of us trying to have a culture and all this stuff. Guys like this is who you kind of build that culture around. I just hope that the progress on the court can match up, because everyone gets frustrated after a while.
We have to start winning games. I mean, the bottom line is that we have to start winning games for all of the guys on the team to start feeling better about themselves and about the team.
Yep.
It's really very simple. We have to start winning games. We need shooters on the team who can score, and so we can win games. That's it.
Trey has figured it out. Basketball debunked by Trey. Peace out, guys. See you guys next time.